Hello, guys, and thank you so much for joining to our yet another episode of series of podcast/interviews with interesting people from Web3 and crypto world. Today, we have an interesting guest representing marketing and growth agency, or basically is a founder. So we have a guest, Matt Cepulis, founder and CEO of LuvKaizen project. So Matt is, as I said before, crypto marketing and growth hacking expert and founder of the project. And yeah, thank you so much for coming, Matt. How are you doing?
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Everything is great. Pleasure to be a part.
Yeah, looking forward to having this interview with you. I think we got, tons of questions to ask, but surely we gotta pick something interesting. So Matt, first of all, could you tell me about yourself? So you've helped like maybe 100 and more Web3 projects and also built LuvKaizen, as I said before. So I know that Web3 world, Web3 growth isn't just for the weak. It is like pretty brutal. So what is one brutal truth about this game no one really talks about?
Yeah, I mean, like the competition is insane here, right? So we started as a KOLHQ like 7 years ago. We started manage KOLs and influencers back in days when there was no kind of influencers and so on. It was like LinkedIn advisors and all of that kind of stuff. So the vibe was completely different and it changed through that time. But in general, like no one talks probably about how hard it is to get the mind share, right? Like you need to set up like very specific campaigns. It costs a lot, etc. And people who has like 10K budget on the marketing side for a month, they think they can shoot their project to the moon, where actually it's not completely like not true at all.
So you've worked with good, bad, and ugly, as you wish. So what are the red flags you watch before taking on a project?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the key areas is narrative. Like, if like as of today, it's very hard for people to get gaming projects pushed on unless it's like AAA game it was building for like 3-4 years, whatever, and then they implemented crypto with like decent kind of base, right? So like narrative is extremely important, and if you don't really fit into that, it's really hard to push. But it's not kind of like a real red flag. It's just it's not that time of the market, I would say. In terms of red flags, there's a lot of shady people in this industry, so you always want to be aware of that. So even today, I got message from like community that a guy wants to get an introduction with me. They invest in different projects, etc., and they asked me that to download like some WeChat platform or whatever. At the end of the day, I only talk on Zoom or only on Google Meet. So there are many red flags in this space, but like you should be very, very cautious and very aware of that.
Okay, so speaking of like Web3 and gaming, do you think that the time of Web3 gaming is over? So is dying now, in your opinion? Could it bounce back? Because are we overgrown this era?
No, like gaming in general is a huge industry, right? And some games will find their way. I think like there's similar narrative to everyone was waiting for US government to sign a Bitcoin, right? And now everyone is waiting for GT 6 to come out to have like digital collectibles and so on. So again, like if this comes as truth, on the blockchain, everything will gonna boom. Again, we see Ton Foundation, we see Ton ecosystem releasing like full scale gaming experiences, games, and etc. So it's not that, definitely it's not that probably time of the market as of right now, but I'm 100% sure we're gonna see boom in the gaming space very, very soon.
So how do you assess the current state of Web3? Are we in bullish or bearish cycle right now?
My friends and colleagues usually judge on my statements and my point of view because
why?
I'm usually very, very skeptic about like in general state of being. Like as I said, like National Reserve had to push the market extremely high, and but basically that was just to sell the news, right? I see more red flags than green flags as of right now in the market being. I'm really skeptic, but I'm also optimistic, so I really hope it will go up. Everybody will
You're
strive.
probably a realist in this field.
Yeah, but again, like I don't feel safe any day I wake up. Just like, and after like I survived, I think 4 bull markets, bear markets already. So any day something happens, it just right now it's just oh well, when like FTX collapsed, it was like something big, something huge. But right now, with like Bybit hack, like nobody really gives an F, It's just oh well, okay, what's next? So I think market is adopting, and black swans becoming like less important to the market, which is also good.
I really see the trend. And speaking of which, let's say that I'm launching a Web3 project tomorrow. So no audience, no budget. What would be bare bones growth plan look like?
That's a really good question. Of course, you have to start with the narrative. So, like, we have projects who comes in with usual an idea. They have like 500 followers on X or whatever, and they just want to start pushing, But what we usually do, we do an audit. We have like 50 questions of simple things through product, through competitors, through positioning and everything. So we sort everything out in very, very like kind of simple, primitive way. And then we gather, like content plan, strategic plan, campaign planning, and all of that, budgeting and all of that kind of stuff. So it goes first like to very primitive kind of stuff. You need to lay down your foundation for yourself first and really understand how you want to position, like how your usual post should look like, what's your casual like go-to like CTA, like call to action and so on, So you have to be very aligned with you and your brand first, and after that everything becomes 10 times easier because you know what you want, you know what you need, right? And then it's like simple game.
And what's your signature move? So maybe the tactic that makes people say like, damn, that's smart.
Good question. I don't really have this kind of tactic or something like that. For recently, for myself, I found this nice kind of hack. Like, I was sitting and like how I can travel the world and still work and promote my work and meet great people in Web3 and crypto, So I started engaging with different conferences and different organizers of the conference. What we do, we help with speakers. Since we are in the market for past like 7 years, we have a lot of connections. So we connect them with the brands, with sponsors. We get like more exposure, ticket sales, deals, and etc. We help them with that in exchange of exposure for us. We don't take any cash or something like that. And that now it just now we can go to like any conference, meet new people, do a presentation, get some exposure, and just have some fun.
Wow, it's really cool. What about your team? So you certainly have a high-speed team, right? What's the secret weapon here? So maybe people, system, or basically how do you keep the team sane across 10 or maybe more live campaigns?
Yeah, so we have like around 10 people in house who usually like are on hands, and then we have approximate of 20 different contractors who jumps from like project to project, from task to task. But like usually it comes about trust. Like I gathered around myself like top top hackers, top growth hackers, top like people that I knew that I trust and I worked for many years, and that I can rely on. And this was like a very solid foundation, and everybody worked since then.
Okay, so now let's talk about some real case scenarios. So Tell me about one growth experiment, one growth campaign that blew up way beyond your expectations.
A campaign which blew up beyond our expectations.
Yeah.
Good question. There were like many different ones.
Or maybe some interesting story, something that was out of your expectations that you had previously said.
Yeah, back in the previous bull market, I was working with DAO and we did Step Up it when it's still the highest TGI event on DAO makers. And yeah, the ambassador was Usain Bolt, the fastest man on earth. So I went to film him in Japan and Jamaica as well. So it was like a very nice experience, and of course it had like a lot of exposure and a lot of eyeballs as well, and of course, like again coming back, why it didn't succeed, because at that point narrative was the key. The Step In was the laying foundation, and Step Up was the following up project immediately, and this is all pretty much even like when the ChatGPT came out, my friend Gentare, who is a CEO of ChainGPT, immediately founded the Launchpad. She was working previously in the Launchpad, so it was kind of no-brainer to launch an AI kind of Launchpad, and right now it's one of the top Launchpads in the industry. So coming back again, the narrative is really, really the key in Web3. I don't even imagine how you can do like even 10x without the narrative, which works right now.
Wow, it's really cool, man. Is there the opposite case? Maybe a campaign that you would push to erase from the internet, maybe a bad experience?
There is always some of those, but usually what we notice, like with those campaigns, is like two devs come to us, yo, Matt, here's 50K, like make this campaign, like make this project boom, and we used to do this, like no worries, here is this, here is that, but at some point, like we always get to blame, like if the KOLs don't work, we burn their budget, and like KOLs didn't work, it was a shitty job, like you did it wrong, can we get a refund? And at the end of the day, like we got tired of being bullied, so this is how LuvKaizen born. Right now we look more in the project in a holistic way. We like scan it from A to Z. We do an audit, and we say, like, we make an offer. So these are the services that you need. These are the services that we think that will cover fully and will work out. Is it you who gonna take care of that, or is it us who gonna take care of that at the end of the day? Because you're really lacking on this and that. Maybe like again narrative. Maybe something is not like sexy. Maybe not branding. Maybe visuals and so on. There are many different ways. So we do this right now in this way, and it's much better and much easier to succeed actually.
Just out of curiosity, is there ever a time where not doing marketing is a smart move?
A lot of projects right now not doing any marketing right now, like literally stopped because of the market and etc. But funny thing that like Mindshare is much easier to reach right now, so why don't you do that? And everybody's looking for the tools right now, like they looking for alternatives and etc. So they're doing research right now. When the bull market is on, nobody has time for that. So I really think like this is a good time, and who says it's not? Maybe they're right, but in my opinion, not really. Of course, you don't want to do like TGI token listings or whatever on the Black Swan days, or on the red market days and etc. So this is a bad market strategy, but sometimes you have just a listing date with exchange agreed and you cannot literally do anything. So there are cases, of course, when you shouldn't do that, but it's very rarely, I would say.
Okay, gotcha. Let's talk about KOLs and influencers. So I've heard that you've managed more than 300 KOLs. So basically, what separates real influence from just follower count? So how do you basically spot fake engagement?
Yeah, good question. So we manage we have more than 3,000 KOLs and like 300 exclusive, more like tier 1 to tier 2 KOLs. We use 3 different tools plus our internal database. We use Kaito, we use Cookie Tree, and we use Tweet Scout and our internal database to match everything and see how they perform. So usually like this separates like fake from real. And again, and our internal database is just, we know the results that we can expect from them. We can rely on them based on the previous experiences and all of that kind of stuff.
And be honest, are most KOL campaigns overpriced in this space?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, gotcha. But okay, the next question, what's the smartest way to stretch a tiny influencer budget?
Yeah, you have to we usually everybody comes to us and wants like KOL lists, right? Like send me a KOL list and so on.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Like it's literally the regular price plus 20-30% on top as an agency fee. Which like in our case, like we negotiate the prices from 20 to 60%, and we take usually bundles, we take like package deals, we take longer term deals as well. So it's more about not how much you spend, it's more about how many content pieces you're gonna get out of that and how you're gonna use it across the time. So this is like literally the way how we do it.
Okay, let's speak about another actors in this space, founders. Already touched upon this topic previously, but what if a founder says, I don't know, we just need hype to pump this token, and what's your response basically here?
Yeah, how does your team look like? How your marketing stack look like? Mm-hmm. So that would be like the first question. The second question, what's your outcome? What's your timeline? And what's your budget? Like, if you have $5,000 and you plan to go to the moon, it's probably bad approach. You have to go to raise some capital to make it happen.
Yeah, so that's pretty basic, Matt, but still kind of the thing that actually works. I feel that
everyone expecting some magic, but at the primitive level, everything is pretty basic. Like there is no secret pill to that.
Yeah, sometimes people just overreact, and in terms of finding some secret potion maybe to make it work, but actually it all comes down to some pretty basic thing. By the way, have you ever told a client something like, you're not ready to grow, fix this, fix that? So
usually this is how we start our conversation, of course there are many projects or evolved and etc., but at the end of the first intro call, right, we want to understand more like the business case or like the exact kind of go to market, how they plan to do their launch and etc. We discuss it, we give them options, we give them suggestions, we give our opinion and etc. But at the end of the day, it's a founder who needs to take a decision. Right. So once we know direction of going, usually is the case, how do you plan to do TGI? What's your plan? Some people don't even know what the TGI means, so maybe they need to do some research on that.
I can imagine that, yeah.
So there are many cases on that, but those are just a few.
And what's something founders maybe think is marketing, but in reality it totally isn't?
What is marketing, but in reality it totally isn't?
Yeah, sometimes founders don't even know what marketing is. So is there a case that they ask way beyond what's possible?
Usually some people don't understand, we have the service kind of go to market and project management. Mm-hmm. And some people don't understand that the amount of work that we have to put it in shaping the project, in the right messaging, messages, right, pointing into the right direction, again, sculpting the narrative and all that kind of stuff. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of time, and a lot of people don't take it as a marketing. It just, kind of think that they take it for granted. We're actually just like you're a pure marketer being for that.
Wow, that's really cool, man. Let's talk about trends. So, is there maybe an underrated marketing tactic or strategy that you're quietly bullish on for 2025?
I think there are many kind of DeFi marketing strategies, like not DeFi, on-chain marketing strategies.
Okay.
That people can be incentivized and like airdrops, but in a smart way. It's not kind of like just follow, like, retweet, and you're gonna have an airdrop.
What's the new approach then?
Yes, we have many kind of different solutions, and it's really depends on the project. Some need to, like, for example, stake it. Some people need to do some sort of like transactions or etc. But usually it's just enabling people to do actions on chain, and this is like very very strong marketing tactic, because if you put it in a like sexy, attractive way, you're gonna attract a lot of degens, and those degens gonna share in their like private groups, friend groups, and etc. They're thirsty for like free capital and free gains, and this will be like a snowball effect for you with like literally no effort. But you have to be very smart how you want to position that, how you want to structure that, and etc.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for sharing that. We're having so nice talk so far. So let's hit a final note. Maybe what about the legacy? So what legacy do you want LuvKaizen to leave beyond campaigns and clients?
In general, LuvKaizen stands for everyday improvement, and in crypto, usually people just comes and go. They have this new shiny object, illness, obsession, and so on. I really hope that this market will change in the way that builders will sculpt like the entire industry, and they will start actually building real product, real cases for humans. And yeah, that's at the end of the day, it's not like, you have to look at this, it's not Web3 people against Web3 people. We help other agencies, we help other contractors and so on to thrive, and I'm really happy for them if they succeed, and I hope others are happy for us as well. It's more of like Web3 versus Web2, and how we do it is just building a good products that people love, that people use, and the main goal should be like onboard as many Web2 users in the new financial Web3 systems.
Yeah, that's the plan. And another one, if you could go back to like day one of building LuvKaizen, what would you warn yourself about?
Warn myself?
Yeah.
Don't waste my time on people who are not kind of interested in doing business, but not kind of serious. There are a lot of like energy draining people who don't kind of need anything or don't want anything. They just kind of drain your energy, and at the end of the day, they bring like zero value to the table. So I just wish I would be like more focused for myself. But this is just a very like selfish observation, I guess.
So that's a good piece of advice, maybe not just for crypto business side, but also from general. That's not actually the end. I have prepared a rapid fire round questions, so there are just 3 quick questions, and you provide like really short answers, no overthinking. Okay, let's shoot. First goes like this: one marketing KPI most people ignore but shouldn't.
Vanity metrics.
Okay. One bad habit every founder should quit this week.
Not talking about budget and skipping this conversation usually.
Wow, that's a good one, man. And the final one, maybe a quote or rule you live by when things get chaotic.
Yeah, every storm will pass, probably from Kobe Bryant. Oh. Like eventually every storm will pass, everything what's happening, it will go away and it will be better.
Yeah, that's a good and calming one, Matt. Thank you so much for sharing that. Guys, just to remind you, we got as a guest Matt Cepulis, founder and CEO of LuvKaizen. So Matt, thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure having this conversation with you. Wish you the best of luck, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the conversation. Thank you, guys. Take care.